Accessories are a massive part of Rise of Kingdoms. It's what makes or breaks good marches to great marches, or average marches makes them good. Accessories are the best way for you to enhance your marches in Rise of Kingdoms. So we're going to update our tier list. This is one of my most watched videos, is the accessory tier list. We're going to talk about all of them because things have changed. So stick around while we go through it all. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky, and I do videos all the time. I put out videos, put out content. I love doing it. You guys know I love the community so much. And speaking of my community, you can join my Discord. The link is down in the description. And that's where we have a lot of these conversations and where a lot of things come into play. Also, if you enjoy the videos that we do and you like watching them, be sure to throw a thumbs up on them. Like them. It helps out the channel a ton. And if you're not subscribed, consider doing that. You can hit that subscribe button. You can have your alerts on whenever I do videos or live streams, or you don't have to have alerts on at all, but it really helps the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribing has really helped us. We're pushing well past 40,000 subscribers now, and it's because of you, the community, and hopefully the content that you like. Now, this is a video that got a ton of traction the last time I put it out. Everybody wants to know about an accessory tier list, what to focus on, what to do, where to go, what to get blueprints for. Well, here are all your accessories, and this needed to be done because the game has changed over time. And not only has the game changed, many components to the game have changed as well. And so with that, we're gonna go through all these because we have a tier list. And there are some accessories you just want to stay away from, and there are some accessories you can't live without. Okay, and so the main things that have changed are some of the commanders and their skills and what they've done. Now, last year we've gotten smite commanders. Okay, well, Greatest Glory had a normal damage enhancement of 5% and more normal damage, which is really, really good. And if that's critted, that's a 6.5%. Okay, so we really enjoy that because all smite and combo damage is enhanced by normal damage. So Greatest Glory got a new lease on life when smite and combo commanders started coming into the game. Now in the game, you have these commanders, right? We all know this. And you've got commanders that are active skill commanders. These are skill damage commanders. You have commanders that are smite damage commanders, okay? And so when you're able to do that, smite damage, as it sees here, gets bonuses from normal damage instead of bonus damage to skill damage. So it's different. Combo damage is the same way. Okay, when he is a primary commander, this is Arthur, he does combo attacks, okay? Combo is enhanced by normal damage and not by skill damage, okay? So Greatest Glory was always something that continued to get value when these commanders came out. So as commanders come out, different values change for the tier list, different values change for different accessories. But for the most part, there are awful accessories. And so let's go through them here. These are accessories that you want to avoid completely, and we'll have the tier list at the end so you can skip around to whatever chapter you want. Okay, first and foremost, recently they came out with smite and combo specific accessories. Okay, so we worked on this, and it was kind of weird that they made the smite, which is an infantry damage effect coming from infantry commanders. They made a saddle for it, which is kind of weird. That should have been the cavalry one, which is more delta and combo, but whatever. This is the smite accessory that they put into the game rather recently. Okay, I did a video on this, and I'll have a card at the end screen for all these different videos that I did. But this is something that we cannot get to work. It is not very good. The only way this works is if you put it on Gajamata and you're running range combat. But basically, this is a 3% increase to smite damage dealt of all types, which means it's not only the smite damage dealt from by Chi and Luce and CJ and Gorgo and all those things, but also by your range smite commanders, which is like Gaja and some of those range commanders, okay? If you're putting up arrow towers. But whenever you deal smite damage, it has a 50% chance to heal itself. Okay, well when you're playing this in the field, a 5% healing effect is nothing. It is nothing. With all the power creeps we've seen over the last few years, 5% healing effect is nothing. And we tried this in a garrison with Gorgo. We tried it in a rally with CPO Emilianus, and it just does not work. So this is a big no. Put a big X on this thing. It doesn't work in the field. It doesn't work in the rallies or garrisons. And we have plenty of smite commanders to where we could run 2 smite commanders in the same march to get max benefit from this. But it just does not work. So that's one you want to stay away from. That's one you don't even want to mess with, okay? And then from there, you have some other ones here. Book of Vengeance. This is a super old 5-year accessory. We've had it for 5 years. This has never changed. It's 8% more counterattack. If you get a crit on it, you can run it up to 10% more counterattack, which is pretty good. But considering the game and where it is today, and now that commanders have so much normal attack or normal damage bonuses, you just don't need this. You already get so much counterattack damage from the commander skills as it is. And we've talked about Attila. I mean, for crying out loud, he does a normal damage bonus of 30%. Okay, normal damage bonus is, and you can see here, this includes your basic attack. There it is, counterattack. So more normal damage that you get is like enhancing your counterattack. So you have commanders that do this more normal damage, and then you have these garrison commanders that do more normal. It takes less normal damage, and the normal damage it takes is decreased by even 50% more. And that's not necessarily counterattack, but you have garrison counterattack damage bonuses here. So in the skills, you have normal damage bonus and counterattack damage bonuses. And with the skills of the commanders over the years, they have grown so high as far as the damage factor and the percentages. There's been so much power creep that when you come back here and you look at the Book of Vengeance, it just doesn't do near what it used to do. So you stay away from this. You don't want to mess with this, okay? It doesn't help you much in the field. You can maybe use it, maybe in counter rallies or rallies that are going to be heavily swarmed, but you already have Greatest Glory, and you already have the commanders like Attila and Pakal and Martel and all these different commanders that are going to kick out so much more counterattack damage anyways, and this just enhances it just a little bit. And so you stay away from this thing. You don't want the Book of Vengeance. Okay, the next one is the Skola's Lucky Coin. This was really cool. This was an accessory blueprint you got in KVK 1. That's how old this thing is. Like, everybody should have had a chance to get one of these things. And it used to be really, really good because it had a shield it would put up that gave you a damage factor mitigation of 500, a damage factor of 500. If it crits, if you can get it to make it a special talent for whatever troop type you run it on, you can get that damage factor up to 650. Okay. But over time, this was a great accessory when the only commanders you had in the field were commanders like, oh, I don't know, the old commanders. Okay, when you had commanders like Mehmed, and Mehmed does pretty good skill damage, but it's 1300. When you had Saladin, 1700 skill damage. Okay, when you had Khan, 1700 skill damage. Well, Skola's Lucky Coin's pretty good, because your commanders just didn't do enough damage back then. Well, nowadays, holy cow, you got a combo of 3000 damage factor here. You got commanders that are doing AoE damage factor of 2000. You got commanders that are doing single target damage factors of what is Huo? Is Huo 2700? 2700. So a Skola's Lucky Coin with a 500 damage factor doesn't really mean that much. I mean, it has aged over time. It has not kept up with the power creep. So you do not mess with this. Do not get one of these things. There is a little bit of serviceability if you are like a leadership Hera YSS or Hera Lapu garrison in like Ark of Osiris or in heavily swarmed Kingslands on a flag. You can maybe get some value out of this, but the prints are too hard to come by. You don't want to waste your season coins or the Crusader coins on these prints, and so do not mess with this. Another one was Web. Okay, Web is it has been in the game for so long, and it is really cool because you can mitigate some march speed, and with cavalry you can mitigate it by 8%, and you can stack the defense reduction that it does on the target by 4% and the march speed by 8%. Well, this can stack up to 3 times. Well, it appears really good, but we got so much march speed now through armaments and through different bonus sets to gear and different things. Like, if this was changed to where, you know, you had the march speed of anything, not just cavalry, by 8%, or if that was 10% and that could stack 3 times, that would be much better. Or if the defense mitigation or the defense reduction that it does on the target was like 8% and that could stack 3 times and you could run that up to 24%. Okay, well then maybe we're talking, but it's not. It is so low of a number, and these marches have so much defense now, and they have so much march speed, and this is just something you do not want to run. Do not waste your materials on this. You will thank me later. Okay, so that's another one. And an additional one that has lost its value is the dagger. So many people have the dagger because it was so good for so long. So many people have it. You have a 30% chance to reduce the target's health by 5%. This is 6.5% if it's got a special talent. This stacks up to 3 times. Here's the thing. Back in the day where it was so hard to get health, okay? Back in the day where it was hard to get health because they didn't give it to you much on your equipment, and we didn't have armaments back then. It was so hard to get health. This was a really good accessory. Really good. But over time, oh my gosh, my armaments alone, let's just go to armaments, okay? And there has been no power creep when it comes to the dagger. However, I am running 12.5% health with just the stats of my armaments. And I've got a robust with another 3.5, that's 16% health. 16% health. So the dagger would have to literally stack 3 times. 3 times to negate the health I just get on my armaments. And it doesn't stack with one another. So if multiple people are running the dagger, it doesn't stack with one another. So this is another broken, in a bad way, old, not good accessory. Don't mess with the dagger. I have seen more daggers dismantled in the last 6 months than I have seen ever. And it's because people realize you just do not get the benefit of the dagger you used to 3 and 4 years ago. Okay, and lastly, on these ones that really don't do anything for you is Seth's Call. Okay, this is an old one as well. Okay, you're getting a little bit of an attack enhancement. Okay, so basically you have a 10% chance to grant 10% attack bonus to the wearer's troops and 2 nearby allied troops. So you're whoever this accessory is on, whatever march that is, plus 2 of your other marches will get 10% attack for 3 seconds. Okay, that's not a big deal. Attack is just not a big deal. You get so much attack from gear, from armaments, from KVK tech. It is just, even with the new KVK tech, when attack is not, you don't get near as much attack, and so it's more valuable. You do not want to mess with this like at all. You do not want to mess with this like at all. And so with that, you got to understand kind of how this thing works out, and trying to figure out exactly what works and what doesn't work. And so that is one you stay away from. Nobody mess with Seth's Call, okay? And now here's where it changes. Because in my previous video about the accessory tier list, I said the same thing about the Pendant, okay? Now the Pendant gives you 5% more skill damage. That, in today's standards, that's just not much at all. You don't even really care. The thing that makes this guy work and the Pendant work, it's a little bit like Greatest Glory that I talked about. The Pendant has this guy I've got it equipped on, and that's Chin. Okay, let's go look at Chin, because the way Chin's skills are, he only does skill damage, and he does it every single second. He does skill damage every second. He doesn't do white numbers. He does skill damage every single second. And so anything that's a skill damage bonus to this guy is like an all damage bonus. Okay, now we're cooking. Okay, that's why that people don't understand why YSG is such a good commander with him. YSG has so much skill damage perpetually that he bonuses skill damage. YSG is a match made in heaven with Chin. It is like the best march in the game. It is crazy how good that march is. And so Chen is a broken commander. Well, all of a sudden, the way he's set up and the way he works off rage consumption instead of rage requirements, every other commander has a rage requirement on their active skill. Rage requirement. Everybody does. Okay, Arthur, rage requirement. Okay, you come to this guy, it's the first time we've ever seen a rage consumption. Okay, so he eats rage and he fires off so fast that here's what happens. Where you would typically use a ring and a horn on your Archer March. Any Zuge Herman March out there, you use ring and horn. Well, now, this critted horn I've got on Zuge because the horn doesn't do anything for Chen. It literally doesn't do anything for him because he's already consuming so much rage. So the horn doesn't really help you. And Feral Nature, I still have Feral Nature on here, and I should take this off to where I'm not running Feral Nature. In fact, I'll just do it right now. I need to. And because he does not need the rage from Feral Nature. So with that, you don't need the horn. It doesn't do anything for you. And so now it's like, well, what do you run? Well, you could run Dagger. I'm not running Dagger. Well, you could run Greatest Glory. I'm not running Greatest Glory. He doesn't do any counterattack or basic attack damage. He does counterattack, but he doesn't do any basic attack. He doesn't do white numbers. I'm not doing Greatest Glory. Well, you could run Moore's Web. Nobody has Moore's Web. Are you kidding me? Well, let's go forge a Pendant. So now Pendant has become, because of this commander and how he works, Pendant has now gotten new life. And so it's worth it. So I went and crafted this literally today. And so I'm going to work on it. I'm going to get it critted, and then I'm going to get it up to tier 5, and I'm going to put it on my Chen because it's really going to do well. The more skill damage this guy can do, the better, because that's all he does is skill damage. And so Pendant gets a new lease on life, okay? That's different from my old accessory tier list. So now we're talking Pendant, and this is why I wanted to update this, okay? We talked about Greatest Glory. It's great. Okay, I have it on my top smite march, which is BQ. I have it on my top combo march, which is Arthur, and it does really, really well. So Pendant is absolutely great, or I'm sorry, Greatest Glory is absolutely great. It's great to get, and you have to understand something. When it comes to the Pendant and when it comes to Greatest Glory, you get these accessories with the egg event and regular events in the game. Okay, you don't have to worry about getting that. You can get it with the Smithy event that comes out. You don't have to worry about just getting this in KVK. So these are two things that you can do, that you can get in the game. In addition to that, you can also get these things as far as the Pendant goes, and something I need to cover here. You can also get this by attacking Barb Keeps. It drops fragments of pendants. It's crazy how that works. And so look at this. This guy drops fragments of the Pendant. So you can grind out Barb Keeps and get fragments of pendants. It's phenomenal. And so there's other ways in the game that you can get Greatest Glory and the Pendant. And those are two accessories that are always good to get, okay? And you can put them on your combo marches and your smite marches for your Greatest Glory, and then you can put the Pendant on your Chen march, on your Chen Shu Huang. That's what this guy does. He's the best commander in the game. And so, in addition to that, another one that's really good that has withstood the test of time is any of the accessories that enhance the mechanics of the game. And when we say that mechanics of the game, we're going to talk drums and we're going to talk horn. Drums is great. We have done the testing to the nth degree. If you're running 4 or 5 marches, having 2 drums is great. If you're running 6 and 7 marches, having 3 drums is great. It enhances your rage. You grant 50 extra rage per second, or you grant 50 extra rage to your march and 2 nearby allied marches. Okay, this thing can proc a lot, especially when you're doing combo damage. This is why I've got one of these on my combo commander. And I've also got one of these on my Trajan and Canyon because I want everybody else to do rage. So this spreads out rage over 3 marches, and it's really, really good. And the cooldown's only 3 seconds. So if you're running a combo commander that fires off so many combo attacks that can really make that 10% chance go up, plus the inscriptions that combo commanders have, like Butterfly, this really, really helps. So drums has withstood the test of time because it enhances a mechanic in the game. It doesn't enhance necessarily damage. All right. The same thing with the horn. Horn is phenomenal. You ought to be running, if you're running 5, 6, or 7 marches, you ought to be running the same amount of horns as you are marches, and then drums with that. Okay. And so that's why horn is so good. And because Everything in this game is all based on your active skills of your commanders. That's how you do damage. That's how you do damage in the field. That's how you do damage in the rally. You want to fire off your active skills as fast as possible. And getting more rage allows you to do that. And that's why some of these accessories really, really work, like drums and horn, because you're just gaining a ton of rage. Okay. And it's really, really good. And so this is a high chance, 30% chance with no cooldown. So you can go put that on your marches and it just drastically enhances them. Okay. And so you can see I've got 5 rings equipped right now. I think I've got 6 overall. But I got 5 rings equipped and only one of them is not critted. That's how much I love horns. It's crazy. Okay. And so from there, the last thing that we'll talk about before we get into some extra stuff is the ring. Okay. This is the same thing. If you notice over here, this affects damage, but not a damage factor. It affects damage as a mechanic in the game. And the beauty with the ring is it takes all your damage factors that go into the damage you do on the target when you're in the field or your rally or garrison, and then it enhances it with all damage. It's great. And so the ring has withstood the test of time. Now, the only bad thing about the ring and why it kind of devalued a little bit with today's fighting in the field is that there is so much back and forth fighting that you're going to hit a target and run away so many times, and you're going to come back and hit it again and run away, come back and hit it again a couple of times and then run away. So if this thing procs, and when I say procs, when this thing fires off with that 10% chance, you're going to get 50% bonus to damage dealt for 2 seconds. So you're going to get it the first second, but if you run away the second second, you don't get it. And that's why this is a must for rally and garrisons, because you're always hooked up and you're hitting every second. But in the field, this is great. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But it lost a little bit of value and drums gained more value because drums is an instant hit. Okay, for 1 second, you get that rage. Even if you're walking away, you get that rage and you stay in combat. Okay, and so from that standpoint, ring still brings a lot of value. Okay, so we had talked about a lot of these things that made sense, that are valuable, and things that you just stay away from completely. And one of the things that we have to talk about, because when we put this up for the new accessories, these are the 3 new accessories they put in the game recently. The saddle is awful because this is for smite and it just does not work. Never mess with this. However, Hero's Hilt is a little bit interesting. Okay, Hero's Hilt is an accessory for combo commanders like Arthur or like Subutai in the rally. Okay, and whenever this wears troops launches any type of combo attack, it has a 50% chance to gain a 3% bonus to all types of combo attack damage for 5 seconds. This can stack up to 5 times. Well, when you're doing combo damage, you're doing 2 and 3 and 4 and sometimes 5 combos in the same second. So this can stack pretty good. Now, the reason why this isn't uber popular is because in the field, we only have 1 combo commander, and he has to be a primary. And since Subutai is a rally commander, where's my guy Subutai? Since he's a rally commander, you can't use him in the field. His skills don't work in the field. So you can't run him behind Arthur. But the next generation of calves that are coming up in a couple of months are gonna be combo commanders. And you can run 2 commanders in the same march. And if they're both combo, look out. Because the armaments of Delta and now the Hero's Hilt in the accessories starts to come alive. The main reason why the Hero's Hilt doesn't work now is because this is a stacking mechanism. Well, when Arthur does combo damage, he has a cooldown. He can't go do combo damage every second. He has a cooldown whenever he does combo damage. But if he's got a pairing with another commander in the field behind him that's also doing combo damage, then Hero's Hilt gets unlocked. And if you get this thing critted, if you get it special talented, then all of a sudden you're running that 3% up to 4.5%. And if you run it to 4.5% or 4%, you're going to run the stacks, okay? You're going to run the stacks up to 20% more combo damage. More than 20% more combo damage, because it's a 30% increase whenever you have a special talent, as it says right here. So all of a sudden, if you can get this to stack 5 times, and with 2 combo commanders ripping off combos every 2 or 3 seconds, Then all of a sudden, this thing gets really valuable. So we're going to put an asterisk by this one because we don't quite have the commanders to run this for the rally, for the garrison, or the field. But we will. And when we do, this thing's going to be very, very valuable. Okay? And so from there, you've got the Plume. Okay? The Immolating Plume. And I have butchered this name 100 times. I called it a Plum one time. I called it a Pluma one time. And so this is the Plume. This is for ranged commanders. This is actually a pretty good one. This is like Greatest Glory or Pendant for smite and skill damage commanders. Okay. The Plume works for ranged direct damage. Okay, it deals more ranged direct damage or ranged smite damage. So it works both with your smite commanders for ranged and your skill damage commander for range. It works both ways. And you have a 50% chance to increase the damage by 30%. It can trigger once every 5 seconds. So only a 5-second cooldown. And for that 1 second that it does, you get 30% more damage. So I've talked to a lot of Siege players that run this and they like it. They like the ring better, because it has a 2-second effect, and the ring is really efficient there, because when arrow towers are in siege marches are hitting from afar, they hit every second. They don't get out of combat. They hit every second. That's why the ring is really valuable for those siege marches, and probably better than the Plume, even though this is specifically made for siege commanders. And so it does have some viability. If you are a player that runs 2 or 3 siege marches, you're going to have one of these, and there's no nobody's going to question you for having these, because these will actually work, and you got more ways to get them, but the ring is probably better. So those are kind of all your different descriptions of these accessories. Okay. And so from there, we're going to come into our tier list. Here we go. Okay. So when we go into our tier list, all right, we look at this overall. Here's my tier list. Here's my little accessories tier list. This is how we're going to run this thing, okay? I have talked about this many, many times, and we've gone through it many, many times, and there's been some adjustments, okay? Horn is always going to be your best. It is my favorite. It's what you want to run. You can't have enough horns. If you have it on every march in the field, regardless of whatever else you have, if you have a horn on every march in the field, except Chin, you're going to be fine. Like, you're going to be as good as you can get. Horn is great. It messes with the mechanic of rage. It's awesome. Okay, from there, for the field, I put ring. Okay, if I was going rally and garrisons, I would maybe put the ring up just as valuable as horn, and horn not as valuable if it's getting swarmed down. But we're just talking for field. I'm going to put the ring right here. Okay, and then I'm going to put the drums right here. Okay, the drums are really, really good. I love them. And they help your rage mechanic, and it's great. From there, an okay one to use is Greatest Glory. I've mentioned that many, many times, and that has no change from the last time we did this tier list. However, I'm also going to put the Pendant up here now, because now this is what we have to run on Chin, and it's really, really good for Chin. It's like all damage for Chin, and so you want to run that with Chin Shu Huang. Okay, and then from there, I'm also going to put the Plume up here, because this is really, really good for range commanders. So those are all okay to have. All right, and so when you look at this overall, that's good. I'm also going to put this as the Hero's Hilt that affects combo damage. I'm going to put this as a wild card, because if we get another combo commander, this might go up to here easily, but for now I'm going to put it just right here. If you go get one now, it's okay on your Arthur March, but it'll be unleashed with another combo commander. Okay, so right now we'll just put okay. It could go here, or it even could go here. You never know. Okay, from there, Skola's Lucky Coin still does things. It just, the damage factor not near as high. You could put there. The dagger's just a no. The book is just a no. And then 100 times no, don't ever do or mess with. We'll put Seth's Call. We'll put the web, and we'll put the saddle there. The saddle we've tried does not work. Not very good. The healing doesn't do anything. The web we talked about, just not enough mitigation from the target you're hitting, and so that helps there. And then the Seth's Call attack isn't that great. It's gotten a little bit better with the new crystal tech, but this is just 100x no. Don't mess with these 6. you mess with these. This is what you want to play with up here. And so with all that being said, there is your updated July 2025 accessory tier list, and put your comments down in the comment section of YouTube. I get down there and talk to people all the time and want to get your ideas on what works and what doesn't work, and I love your feedback. So make sure you put a comment down there, make sure you like the video, and if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. I love everybody in this game. I love playing this game, and the community is what makes this game so much fun. So with that, hope everybody takes this, give me feedback on it, jump into my Discord, tell me what you think, and we will see you guys later.